Running a Fever episode 111. We'll talk about a new dietitian. Welcome to Running a Fever. It's a show about how to get from being out of shape to being in shape. How to improve your health. And where do I come from? Who am I to talk about such a thing? Well, at the age of 52, I lost 80 pounds. Reduced my waist size by 12 inches, reduced my blood pressure by 10 points, reduced my BMI by 10 points, reduced my body fat by 10 points, increased my energy, and I now describe myself as active. And this has happened in about 13 months now since we started this journey. How'd all that happen? Well, I love my life. I love my life enough to make it last as long as possible. That's why I'm doing this whole thing. I hope you do too, and I hope you have caught the fever, and that's why you're here. You know, it's a little after 4 in the afternoon. It's a Tuesday afternoon, and you know, this is kind of reminds me of the old days when I just came out every single day, get home from work and head out to the trail. That's exactly what I did today. I left work, I'm looking around, it's 54 degrees in December. Not terribly sunny, getting dark quickly, but still, seemed like a nice day. And to be honest, I really miss this. I love walking. I like walking and talking to you. And it really helps me stay motivated. And it really helps me psychologically. So what's wrong with just going out because it feels good to do so? You know, this is fun. Last time I went out, I think I was at Devil's Den State Park. I always like doing that. Been there a bunch of times, still like doing it. Here I am on the Lake Fayetteville Trail. I mean, how many times I've been here? I wouldn't be surprised if it was 100 or more. And I love being here, I don't know. And I've always talked about how I want to do different things, and I have been doing, you know, different things on the weekends. Although most of it's been hiking and walking in other places. When it gets really cold, that may be the day that I finally go to the climbing gym. And I may not ever do any cycling until next year sometime. I don't know. That's also a budget issue there. And I can think of lots of things I should be doing today. But you know, why not do it? Because, I mean, this is part of my life that I love. I love walking and talking to you, and that's why I'm doing it today, the main reason. It's good enough to do it just because you enjoy doing it. As long as you're not hurting anybody. Man, I've got a pretty good pace going on today. It's a little breezy now and then. Not terribly cold, but I got gloves and my hat on, and hood is up. Extra layer on the bottom, those old compression pants that don't compress anymore. The old ones. I mean, they're just almost baggy on me now. So I expect to warm up a little bit, but it's also, I expect the temperature to drop pretty quickly. I think the low is only going to be about 40, but we will see. As I slowly get warmed up. And I'm going to do full circuit here. It just doesn't feel right to do less anymore. And so it'll probably take me an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, I'm hoping. Maybe 2 hours, probably not. Well, if just enjoying something and doing it because you enjoy it is not enough, consider this. Something that makes you feel good is usually, not always, but usually a reliever of stress in your life. All kinds of ways to relieve stress. Having a strong faith community and tradition, and devoting a part of your day to some sort of meditation or connection with that spirit. Howdy. Is a good way to relieve stress. In fact, studies show that being a person of faith can add 4 years to your life. Amazing. But just, part of it physically is because of the stress relief. Stress is a killer. It really is. And, I was talking the other day about how I'm born into a life of stress, it seems like. I don't seem to be able to get away from it. Self-imposed, yeah, it's part of my personality to want to push myself and do as much as I can. I enjoy it, but it can be stressful sometimes. So I need to relieve stress, and this is a stress reliever. I'm going to try not to think about the fact that I was planning to record a video episode today, and I've got Christmas cards to write. I've got Christmas presents to make and other things that I should be doing perhaps, but I also need to take care of myself. I already walked a mile here, and that's what I'm doing today. Loving life. If I can't do that, then I need to start trying to figure out how I can. Because that's the key. That is what it's all about, loving life. Hydration department. Right before I came out here, I had a pre-workout supplement, and you can find links to all my supplement on the website, runningfever.com, and click on shop. And so this is a pre-workout supplement that I took, and had a protein shake, and had a little bit, I've tried some, let's get back to the hydration department. Well, I only had probably about 10 ounces right before I came out, not including what I mixed with the pre-workout supplement. I've been hydrating fairly well today. Definitely had the minimum for the day. But as far as preparing for this particular workout, I didn't do a whole lot. I had a bottle of water in the fridge, so I grabbed that, drank about half of it, and then I'll have another half on the way back to the house when I get back to the Botanical Gardens Trailhead parking lot in another hour or so. So yeah, a little supplementation there. Didn't really eat a ton of stuff today. This morning, for some reason, I was really full. Didn't even finish my breakfast. Just didn't feel like I could stuff anymore in myself after having all of my morning supplements. I did go out for pizza last night. Sorry, we're kind of all over the place, but this is somewhere in the neighborhood of diet department. Went out for pizza last night. Possibly some of the best pizza I've ever had. And what that usually relates to is the crust is freshly made. It's baked in a brick oven. Now, I've had brick oven pizza that just doesn't taste good at all. Probably because it was on a frozen crust, and the brick oven was just really a marketing technique, where technically maybe they had a brick oven, but it didn't matter because the dough wasn't worthy of it. But here, really nice. Fresh ingredients, really strong. So I had what's called a double pepperoni, just pepperoni and some spicy salami. Really good kind of thin crust. Just melts in your mouth, delicious. Mouth is watering just thinking about it. The whole thing's probably 1,200 calories. I had 2/3 of it, and had the other 2 slices today for lunch. So it's probably about a 400 calorie lunch. Not too bad. Yesterday I did try to sort of cut back during the day and eat light during the day, knowing that I was going out. But sometimes it just backfires, you know? I eat at lunch at noon, and then I'm not even, gonna get to the restaurant until 7. I just can't hold out that long. In the era of, 6 meals a day, just didn't get it. So I wound up having some peanut butter and cracker in the afternoon, and butter and saltines. Delicious stuff. Yeah, other than that, I haven't eaten much. I think I probably ate a whole dried apple snack throughout the day. Not my usual 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. So anyway, late afternoon, decided to go ahead and get some protein in there. Gonna have a long walk, so probably find some use for that. And I found myself snacking on, I remember, so the Devil's Den episode, I talked about, at that time I had tried the Blue Zone smoothie. That was okay. I don't know, I think my regular smoothie sort of improvised thing is probably better. And it still contains fruit. It's frozen fruit, but just as nutritious as fresh fruit. And banana, some fruit juice, and even put some greens in there, some spinach. Blended all that up. That's pretty good stuff right there. You can use blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, whatever you want. So I think it's probably just as good. Only thing the Blue Zone smoothie did differently was there was milk in it, which of course I use almond milk these days, and some cinnamon, and I don't know why there's salt in it. Something I'm starting to discover is I think that most of these recipes probably have too much salt, just for taste, not to mention health. Howdy.
Good, how are you?
Good, how you doing? Some people enjoying the day out here. Have a good, nice day. You gotta take advantage of it. We actually had a winter storm coming through this weekend, this last weekend, and so it's good to have a nice day. In the Devil's Den episode, I mentioned that the next recipe I was going to try was going to be Sardinian tomato sauce, and I think we're going to use that for pizza. Howdy. Another weird self-propelled device. This time he was pumping the handlebars to move along. I don't know. Weird. So that worked out okay. I kind of thought the sauce was a little loose, a little watery. It wasn't quite as thick and consistent as I wanted it to be. But still, tastes really good. And of course, all natural ingredients, like anything you would see from the Blue Zone Solutions recipe section. And then last Friday, I decided to go ahead and make a double batch of Sardinian tomato sauce. I used part of it for a meal. I was having some friends over. It was just, I did whole wheat spaghetti and the Sardinian tomato sauce. Only thing that wasn't that healthy was I did put some good old-fashioned pork Italian sausage in there. But did make it taste delicious, even if it added a couple hundred calories to each serving, and fat and all kinds of good stuff like that. Sometimes you just got to add a little bit of that. But this time the sauce turned out really well. I don't know what was different. I pretty much take a picture of the fields here. It's always a beautiful sight in the middle of the city here to see this. And it looks different every time. I think we're getting a little bit better with the immersion blender, and you know, of course, the Blue Zone's way of cooking involves as few labor-saving devices as possible. You don't use an electric can opener. You burn calories while you're working in the kitchen, and probably relieve stress by doing this activity as well. However, the recipe does call for an immersion blender, and in fact, I had to buy one because I did not have one. And so I think we got a little better with that technique this time, and that might have something to do with it, just being able to blend that all together in the pot. So I now have quite a bit of Sardinian tomato sauce, which, you know, I understand the Sardinians actually keep this stuff around all the time, pretty much. It's part of their, it's kind of like rice in Japan, you know, it's just part of every meal. So we'll see where I can work that in. Certainly with pasta, that's pretty easy. I'm using whole wheat pasta or sometimes quinoa. There's some other interesting types that I've seen in the grocery store based on vegetables, artichokes. I mean, it's all kinds of stuff I've just got to probably try. And you can buy it in the store. So I've tried that. Okay. It's a beautiful day here in Lake Fayetteville, by the way. And it is rather damp. It's been raining harder earlier today. Now it's just kind of sprinkling, drizzling, whatever you want to call it. But the rain kind of brings out a nice woodsy smell, you know, because I'm going through all these trees. So I'm really enjoying that and just being outside and talking to you while I'm doing this. I had a dietitian visit recently. It was actually a few weeks ago, but I have a new dietitian. Her name is Lindsay. And I went in, this is my first visit with Lindsay, and Angela was actually hovering around the room, but she has moved on to a new position, and so now I get a new perspective on my dietary health and other things. I went in there with a couple of problems, at least what I thought was problems. My body fat was dropping slowly, but I was kind of stalled. My weight was between 195 and 201, and I just wasn't losing anymore. And I was at a caloric deficit, less than 2,000 calories. I wasn't losing any weight. I guess my metabolism suffered at that point. 2,000, you know, or more, I could maintain. I still wasn't losing a whole lot. You know, the main thing that Lindsay told me about that was if your body changes are stalling, do more cardio. And yeah, what a surprise. It's not the first time that I've heard that. And that seems to be the one problem that I'm facing, is getting motivated to do that cardio on a regular basis. And I think it's a habitual thing once I start. I mean, I've been able to do that, you know, 2 times a week, something like that for a while. But it just doesn't have the appeal of coming out and walking, or even going to the gym and lifting weights. So, you know, that's my challenge right now that I'm working on. I don't think I'll ever run out of challenges and ever have the perfect health. So she says that a healthy body fat is between 18 and 25%. Men in their 20s maybe could have low teens body fat, you know. And I don't know if I'm buying this. I don't know why 18 is better than 17. 25 is that much worse than 26. I don't know. It's all a range. So she did say that older people, and I don't fit into this category. At least, I don't know. Maybe that's why she mentioned it. You said people in their 70s and 80s might need more body fat if they get sick. So I guess keep that in mind. Now, at the time that I went to see Lindsay, I was still on the old, well, I won't say the old, I was trying the Remington James diet I've talked about before. And, it was a pound and a half of meat a day. And she liked my old diet before, that I talked about, my flexible diet. And I like it better too. But she said too much protein, and then my old diet was probably much better. So I like Lindsay so far. It's always good to have that professional opinion if you have the ability to get a good dietitian and work with them, at least check in every now and then and say, okay, here's what my diet is, how am I doing, etc. Pretty good visit with Lindsay that time. And, I really haven't been doing that well lately, the last couple of days. I've just kind of had an attitude problem, I'll be honest with you. And when I don't take care of myself, I'm talking about things like getting sleep, having good social connections, getting plenty of rest, having a good diet, all those things. I mean, sometimes life just gets in the way. It's the holidays, and that can be a little stressful for me. It's one of the things I just constantly work on, but, things like that happen. Things in life happen not always when we want them to happen. So I have to remember that, the world does not revolve around me. And there are going to be plenty of things that I don't like that I'm going to have to deal with as I love my life. So got to take care of yourself physically, psychologically. Do things like I'm doing today, good things. Go out and just do things that feel good and that really raise your spirits. So I hope you enjoyed our talk about dietitians, diet, a little bit about just having a good time. Just having a good time and enjoying life. So hopefully you got the fever. You got to keep it. If you don't have it, get it. And I'll talk to you next time on Running the Fever. This is the Padua Podcast Network. PaduaMedia.com.